We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. It is TGIF.
How about that?
And the great thing is I get to spend my Friday with Pete Wilson.
Oh my. Now I'm questioning your veracity and your honesty.
I'm serious. I love spending my mornings with you, Pete.
Okay. All right. Even when I spread some bad news
Well,
and some things that make you question human nature and all that.
I mean, just because you have some of that today, are you feeling a little guilty?
No, not at all. Because
you didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it. Oh, no. Allegedly
didn't do it.
Most important word in the newspaper business before somebody's convicted.
Allegedly.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Pete's full of it this morning. I can tell you that, not allegedly.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's start off with something pretty hot, and it's not on the crime front.
Okay.
We'll get to the crime front soon enough. But this is on the political front.
Oh.
A lot of developments lately, as you all know, if you've been keeping up with things in the Telegram and elsewhere about positions in the city of Wellston.
Yes.
Back on January the 14th, Randy Dupree resigned as Wellston City Law Director so he could become Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney.
Yes.
So that left a vacancy in that position. Then, making even bigger news earlier this week, Wellston Mayor Charlie Hudson, this was unexpected, resigned as mayor of Wellston with some time left on his term, just as Randy also had time left on his term.
Sure.
And that left a vacancy for mayor. That is the top position in the city. So, it's probably going to generate some extra interest. Both of those positions, by the way, are unexpired terms that must be filled by the Jackson County Republican Party Central Committee, and specifically the members who live in the city of Wellston.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a minute. But
there's a lot of layers to this onion.
Right. But we already know, even though they've just now announced the meeting when they're going to make that appointment, we already know two people who are seeking the appointment. I mean, really quickly. First of all, it perhaps came as no surprise when it was confirmed last night by Jeremiah Shaver that Anthony Brenner, the current service director at Wellston, will be seeking the appointment as mayor. Now,
makes sense.
Publicly, Charlie Hudson told the Telegram, and we reported, when he was explaining his resignation and commenting on that, he also said, one of the things that made him feel like, this could work out for the city is that Anthony Brenner has been his service director, and he would like him to consider being the mayor, move into the top position, and then there would be continuity. And he feels like, things have been going pretty good. So at that point, when we interviewed Charlie, Brenner was contemplating, thinking, talking over things with his family.
Yeah.
That's
a big deal.
Right. Last night, they had a Wellston City Council meeting, so all the Wellston City officials are together. Mr. Brenner didn't really say anything during the course of a meeting, routine meeting. But we asked him, Jeremiah is we in this case, ask if he had made a decision about running for mayor, and the answer is yes. He is going to. It's a yes and maybe. Yes, he is going to seek the appointment. All right.
Yes.
And that appointment meeting, by the way, has been set. It is next Friday. Not much turnover time. It was just
7 days.
It came to our attention last night when we got an email from the secretary of the Central Committee. Next Friday, January 27th, the Central Committee, the Wellston City Caucus of the Northern Caucus. That's right now, there's only 3 members. I believe there must be a vacancy. But those 3 members who are Arthur Matthews, Adam Massey, and Cheryl Raymer will decide who gets the appointment of mayor temporarily.
Okay.
Anthony Brenner's name is in the hat. Well, it was confirmed also last night that former Wellston Mayor Connie Pelletier is also going to seek the appointment.
Oh,
so very interesting.
Whoa.
For those who have been under a rock or have just moved into Jackson County, Connie was the mayor for 8 years prior to Charlie Hudson being the mayor.
Yes.
And, give credit where credit is due. She is credited with being the main force, was turning the city's finances around.
Absolutely.
And 8 years ago, after going through all that, the city coming out of fiscal emergency, things being much better, she had said, oh, this is enough. And she was very pleased at that time to endorse Charlie Hudson for mayor, who had been the city council president. So we wound the clock back for background. But now Connie says that she is going to seek the appointment. And moreover, if she doesn't get the appointment, she is going to run for mayor anyway, whether she gets the appointment or not.
Which will be in what,
this
one
year,
or two?
This year.
Okay.
2023 election cycle. Because the city of Wellston, like the city of Jackson, is partisan, meaning Republicans and Democrats, there are primaries. The primary is May the 2nd. You file for office with a deadline 90 days before the election. In this case, it is February the 1st.
Oh, wow.
So if you're going to run if you're going to run for Wellston mayor, you don't have much time to make up your mind. And the same thing goes for any partisan city position in Jackson or Wellston. Now, you can also run as an independent. You can do that later. But if you're going to run under the party label R or D, you need to file no later than February 1st. All right. Anthony Brenner, is he going to run for mayor if he doesn't get the appointment? He doesn't know that for sure right now.
Okay.
If he doesn't, would he want to stay as service director? And he said that depends, because the service director is a position appointed by the mayor. So if Connie Pelletier got the appointment as mayor, or somebody else, because others could come forward as well, it would be up to that person whether Anthony Brenner would remain as the service director. That is at the pleasure of the mayor, they say.
Okay.
All right. And then if you look at it from the other side, Anthony Brenner would have to decide whether he wants to stay as service director, depending on who gets mayor. So you see, you have several layers to this situation.
Woo-wee.
And this does not even consider, once again, who else might run for mayor. If you want to run for mayor in Wellston, you need to be an elector. That simply means that you live within the city of Wellston. And I presume, although this was not in the write-up that I had from the party, I think you have to be a Republican to run as a Republican.
I would think so.
A registered Republican. There's lots of those in this county.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Even if, and once again, if a person does not run as a Republican or Democrat, they can run as an independent and even later as a write-in. Why anyone would want to run as a write-in when you can run with your name on the ballot, I can't tell you, but it does happen.
Yeah.
All right. So that meeting to pick not only the mayor and the law director for the remainder of the unexpired term, that is through the end of the calendar year, that meeting will be 7 p.m. next Wednesday. They're doing 2 different things. They advertised as 2 different meetings, but it's all going to take place at the same time, 7 p.m. at the Wellston City Building in the Wellston City Council chambers.
Okay.
And so once again, and Randy Dupree, who is now the prosecuting attorney, we don't know for sure if anybody is going to run for or seek a law director appointment. But once again, that is being advertised. There might be people lining up now. Sure. The word is up. We just don't know. We will know for sure on Friday evening. Wow. But ahead of time, we know that there are at least 2 for the mayor's position. Anthony Brenner, the current service director, and Connie Pelletier, the past mayor.
Interesting.
So we will be, of course, we'll have a story out in the paper on Saturday. We'll have a story online later today reporting on this. And of course, we'll be covering the developments from the meeting on the 27th, where they will pick somebody once again to serve the unexpired term through the end of the year for both mayor and law director.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now we'll go to the crime front.
All right. Wow, that was a whole day's news all in its own.
Well, and it's all hot, we take a little pride. We pride that information out of the principals there.
Sure.
You know, it's going to start circulating anyway, maybe on social media or whatever. But Connie Pelletier was at the meeting last night, and she did tell Jeremiah Shaver her intentions, and then she also let me know as well after that.
Okay.
So it is official on her part, at least verbally.
All righty.
And the official filing, you know, will come with the paperwork that must be sent into the Republican Party, or you can just show up as well. But most people let the party know ahead of time because they can submit a letter of interest, making a little bit of a pitch ahead of time on paper, also their resume as well. The Central Committee members that get to make that choice, then they can mull that over before the meeting actually occurs next Friday. All right, but on the criminal justice front, we have several stories to tell you about. Here in Jackson County, this broke earlier in the week, a news release from the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Office reports that they have arrested Joseph K. Lewis, age 48. He is a Wellston resident, and James has put up Mr. Lewis's picture there. He is now in the Jackson County Correctional Facility, and he was arrested on January the 6th. That's a week ago. That's 2 weeks ago, actually, today, by the Sheriff's Office, following what they called, I'm going to use their words because this comes from them, a swift investigation that revealed wrongdoing. Deputies interviewed multiple students, adults, and school staff at Christian Life Academy, where Mr. Lewis had worked as an aide prior to the arrest. The victims claimed that Mr. Lewis used text messaging and video game chat, as well as social media platforms of Snapchat, TikTok, and others, for soliciting and sending nude photographs and videos. Right, this information, you know, came after, interviewing staff members there. So, as far as the material and people who were childs who may be portrayed in this pornography, of course, they were not identified. So we don't know
So we're talking about children.
Right, and we don't
Videos
know. We don't
and
know.
pictures and
Right,
things.
we don't know specifically whether
boy.
any CLA students were victims there. We just know that they
Okay.
knew of the pornography
Oh my. Okay.
through these social media channels that were mentioned. After this information came out in interviews, deputies gained search warrants for Mr. Lewis's computers, his video game systems, his social media accounts, and his cell phone. And this allowed them to collect the evidence, which led to him being arrested and charged. The charge is disseminating material harmful to juveniles. That's a 4th-degree felony. On this past Tuesday, he waived a preliminary hearing in Jackson County Municipal Court. The case has been bound over to the Jackson County Common Pleas Court, where at some point when the grand jury meets again, they will consider the evidence for an indictment, and this could result in new and/or additional charges against Mr. Lewis.
Oh,
This
my.
first charge was one to just kind of like get the ball rolling. And we do want to emphasize that Mr. Lewis, as a result of this arrest, is no longer employed by the school. He is, as of our report that we received earlier in the week, still incarcerated in Jackson County Correctional Facility.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Right, and we do have that story online, and it will be, of course, in our Saturday paper. We received it. We received that information late on Tuesday, too late to get in our Wednesday print edition because of print deadlines. All right, a couple of stories out of Vinton County that are interesting. This one is getting a lot of attention out there. It always does when there is a child involved and bad things happen. The Vinton County Sheriff's Office, this came as a result of an arrest that occurred on Saturday, January 14th, just 6 days ago in
Okay.
the afternoon. Deputies from Vinton County responded to Sheets McCoy Road in reference to the death of a child. This was why they came.
Oh no.
As a result of the initial inquiry and coming to that residence, Carl Jonas III was arrested. And there is his picture.
Oh my.
He is in the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail in reference to this incident. That was all that was said
To the child's death.
in relation to the death of the child.
Okay.
At 3:02 p.m., deputies executed a search warrant there at the same residence, and they were also on what they call civil standby at that same residence. Now, no other information was released. So, the charge right now, according to the jail website, is tampering with evidence. Tampering with evidence. No other charges directly related that would, lead one to think, that there's, murder or something serious, but maybe a little less than that. Right now, tampering with evidence. But we do know that charge against Mr. Jonas was filed in connection with the death of this child. And I believe the child was 2 years old.
Oh, my.
All right. Another incident reported by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office occurred just last Monday, and they were called to the Dollar General store in Hamden, or to the outside of the Dollar General store in Hamden. There was a man who appeared to be passed out in a vehicle there, and so there was concern.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got to that vehicle, they found the male, who was identified as William Johnson, age 21, of Wellston. He was unconscious and barely breathing. There is a picture of William Johnson. They pulled him from the vehicle and began to perform life-saving measures on Johnson. In this case, it was 5 doses of Narcan, which is often used to, once again, expressly, it was not said that this was a drug overdose, but Narcan is a drug that is frequently used, much more than the public may know, to revive drug overdose victims when they have passed out.
Yes.
Right. And often, you could say it may save their life.
Sure,
if
absolutely.
this life-saving effort is not made. EMS personnel and many law enforcement officers routinely carry this.
Yes.
Just as
a lot of, just citizens do.
It's just part of the first aid kit, you might want to say. Anyway, in addition to apparently reviving, perhaps even saving Mr. Johnson's life, this is the crime part of it now, deputies found a large amount of what is suspected to be a fentanyl compound inside the vehicle where Johnson had passed out.
Okay.
The substance is being sent to Ohio BCI for analysis and confirmation. But in the meantime, he refused medical treatment after they brought him around. EMS was there too. He was taken into custody, and he has been charged with possession of drugs because of the suspected fentanyl compound in the vehicle. But this incident, which was reported by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, and we're just relating what they let us know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the general public realizes. I think they have heard anecdotally many times about the drug problem and that there are many drug overdoses.
Yes.
But the number of drug overdose deaths and the number of times that law enforcement has to use Narcan to revive and maybe bring back a drug overdose victim, I don't have numbers for you.
I was going to say, but it would be scary.
It would be scary. And I know one of the things that Judge Mark Music is doing, and he has a drug court there.
He does.
He knows that drugs are tied to crime. And the other element of there is trying to bring somebody out of that scourge of drugs, in addition to seeing that they are punished for their misdeeds. He is trying to quantify the number of drug overdose there is, in addition to the intervention on the backside. And it is, he said, and this is the number that can be documented. It's not the number, it's not the whole number, because a lot of times it may not even come to law enforcement's attention. But anyway, all those
the numbers are staggering.
It is. The Jonas story and the Johnson story are both online from the Vinton County Sheriff's Office. The Johnson story will be in our Saturday print edition, for our print subscribers, print-only subscribers. And for the people James, the people will only look at the paper that don't have a computer.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I meant. So, and the other one is the arrest on Jonas was in our Wednesday print edition. Okay. For those folks who prefer just to look at the print. All right. Well, we'll go to something positive now.
Yay!
All right.
Yeah, you're really full of it this morning, Pete.
I'm just reporting, all right?
I know.
I'm just saying. Okay, the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership had their appreciation reception on Tuesday evening, and I'll have to say I covered that, and it was a very impressive affair, very well organized. We'll give a lot of credit to Jackson County Economic Development Partnership President and CEO Sam Brady.
Yes.
and his team. He's got an executive board. He's got a full board with lots of members. He's got staff members, Amanda Williams and Jennifer Jacobs, the former director over there. But it was impressive. A lot of the board members, business people, political leaders, stakeholders, some of the big plants and businesses that support economic development partnership, as well as benefiting from their work.
Yes.
They were all there. I mean, the ParksEdge Event Center was where it was held, in the big room.
Yeah.
And it was practically full.
Oh, wow.
It was
That's
impressive.
a lot of people.
It was impressive. But this was the first time in 3 years they were able to have it because of, COVID
The word
-19.
Yes.
Right. So it was a situation where they had a chance to kind of review and preview, look back at some of the big projects that had been successful,
Yeah.
and also to look ahead to what's going on in 2023. And they had some special guest speakers there as well. Congressman Brad Winstrup was there. And,
That's
we talked
awesome.
about him too. There he is right there. I was impressed by his speech.
Okay.
He is now our congressman in Jackson County. They drew the legislative lines, and Mr. Winstrup has served in Congress since 2013, but now his district includes Jackson County.
Okay.
Bill Johnson, who had been our congressman from the 6th District, he's still working too, but his lines are a little different. And
Okay.
so we have a different congressman, Brad Winstrup. And to my knowledge, since he took office in this term, which of course was started in January the 1st, this was his first public speech, at least. He may have made an
wow.
appearance or whatever, but it's a big
That's
district,
great.
16 counties across southern Ohio, from really the edge of Cincinnati on the east all the way across the river, and not very deep
Okay.
as far as north goes.
Gotcha.
So, but anyway, he talked about the issues that he thinks that are important in Congress. He did not get real partisan in his rhetoric against Joe Biden or the Democrats. He just talked about what he thought was important, what he thinks the Republican majority is important. Border security, bringing down inflation, health care, all those things he mentioned. And his speech will be encapsulated in a story that we'll have in our Saturday paper, and it will be online as well. He was just one of the speakers. Also, they had a speaker named Steve Derrickson. He was a former state representative. Many people may not have heard his name because he's not from this part of the state, but there he is. He is now for Jobs Ohio. He is the Food and Agribusiness Director, Senior Director for Jobs Ohio. Jobs Ohio is the state public-private arm of economic development.
Yes.
It works through state government, but there's a private sector part of that too. John Kasich, who was a former governor, thought that would be more effective than having Ohio Department of Development, which is what we used to have. And then there is a regional arm called Ohio Southeastern Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio Southeast Development, and that is the regional arm. And Taylor Stepp is a project director. He's from here in Jackson.
Yes.
He works with Jackson County and some other area counties as well. He was there last night too. He didn't speak, but Mr. Derrickson spoke because he works with food and agribusiness, and Jackson has two of the largest food production plants in the state. Not just in the county, but in the state. And of course, we're speaking of Bellisio Foods and General Mills.
Sure.
And both of those plants have progressed and moved forward. They've added employees, they've added work. And, that's challenging in this climate where, we're coming off COVID. And quite frankly, there are employment issues.
Very much so.
Finding new workers, trying to retain workers, and, getting the work done right. And both of those companies have found ways to do it, and they were honored for that and for their important position. Mr. Derrickson said that they consider at the state level Bellisio Foods and General Mills to be very vital and important on a state level, just not a county or regional level. So that was why he wanted to come and speak. The other part of the program was Sam Brady, the president and CEO, talking about some of the projects. And one of the things he emphasized was, you hear about the big projects, the expansions that the big boys have, Bellisio and General Mills. You hear about something.
Well, and you see them as well.
Yeah, you hear about something that's new, but you're also talking about a bunch of economic development projects that involve smaller companies, not as many jobs, but some new jobs usually, and certainly retaining jobs.
Yes.
I think you know that with Six Cents Brewery. They mentioned your company. They mentioned Sunrush Water out of Wellston. They mentioned Circle M Meats, which built a new facility here in the last year.
Yes.
All those companies were helped by, the economic development professionals. That's their job.
Very much.
And Jackson County, there's been more, according to Sam, there's been more projects and more activity, more visits, more investment per capita than there are in many of the other counties in our area.
Yay, that's good news,
So,
Pete.
all that is good. And all that is kind of boiled down, in that story that we're going to have in Saturday's paper. But one of the high points came at the very end. Mike Evans is a senior vice president at Bellisio Foods.
Okay,
He has
yes.
lived here for 30 years, and he received an award. Didn't know it was going to happen.
Oh, really?
He received
Cool.
an award at the end of the meeting. It is called the James A. Rhodes Leadership and Service Award, and it was for his commitment to Jackson County.
There he is.
There is Mr. Evans on the left end. Then you have Jason Brown, who is the president of the executive committee for the Economic Development Partnership, Brad Winstrup, the congressman, and on the end, the genial man behind the curtain, Sam Brady. Sometimes he's in front of the curtain too, but
Yes.
there he is as well. So congratulations to Mike Evans for that award. Obviously, he is one of the people, the decision makers at Bellisio Foods that has made the plant so successful that the new ownership, which is out of Thailand, by the way, they have decided to invest more and more
Big time.
in this plant
Yes.
here in Jackson. And that is good for everybody, not just Bellisio Foods. That is good for the city of Jackson and its environs. That is certainly good for the employees. And they have had to make adjustments with employees the last 3 or 4 years because of the climate and because maybe it's the thing to do. Wages are higher. There's more benefits involved. They have that health
I
clinic
was going to say, they
over
built
there
a free health clinic
to
there.
try to keep people healthy and
That's
all.
cool.
So very positive development there.
Yeah.
Okay, since we're talking about business, we will head north now to the village of McArthur.
Okay.
And there has been a long-standing pizza shop there that is going to be closing very soon.
Oh,
and it is
no.
called Giovanni's. It is on High Street, right across from the district office. So it's kind of in a residential area of McArthur. And it has been a family-run operation by the Sowers family. Dave and Maggie, husband and wife, bought it, I think, in 1990.
Okay.
1990. And that is a current picture. That is Maggie on the left and her son, John, who is now the manager. So it's family operated. Maggie stayed with it the whole time. And they announced, and this is in a story that is in our Saturday paper and will be
Okay.
online as well. They announced that they are in the process of closing. They've got the inventory, and once they're out of their inventory, they're going to close the doors after all the
Gotcha.
years. They don't want to get into all the specifics, but it has to do with them being unable to reach an agreement to extend their franchise agreement with Giovanni's Pizza. Giovanni's Pizza
Oh.
is a registered trademark franchise. There's a Giovanni's Pizza in Jackson. There's a Giovanni's Pizza in Oak Hill. There was a Giovanni's
That
Pizza
I was going
in
to
Wellston.
say.
which,
There you go.
Same issue.
Yes.
Terry Brennan and Cheryl, who owned that very popular pizza shop there on
Very
Pennsylvania
popular,
Avenue
yes.
in Wellston, they didn't renew their agreement with Giovanni's, and they are going on as Brennan's Family Pizzeria.
That's right.
New name. I always wondered, on these trade names, and it's more than just pizza. If you have established yourself and you have a successful business, can't you call yourself about anything?
I would think so.
Once you've got the local clientele, but it's considered, I don't know, a big deal if that's what you've called before. And, they want to keep that notoriety. That's why sometimes when the funeral homes change ownerships, they keep the old name,
Yes.
I think that's why they do it anyway. But anyway, what they're going to do up at Giovanni's, they don't have a closing date, but it's going to be pretty soon.
Okay.
And the
That's
family, the
unfortunate.
Sowers family, is going to have a new business endeavor that's going to be big. It's
Okay.
not going to be. It's probably not going to be there. It's going to be at a different location. And as far as the location there, across from there on High Street, it might be leased out, or maybe they'll use it for other business purposes. But their new business project, which will be announced in the near future, probably Red Thompson Jr. will get that story for
Okay.
us. We'll have the details on that later as well. But a footnote to this on how Giovanni's was successful in Jackson or in McArthur, they had a big challenge too. When they bought that building and they started the pizza shop, they were right across the street from the high school. That's built-in business. Is that good?
Yes.
Well, they
Oops.
just after they started, or 10 years after they started, they built the new high school
Mm-hmm.
out on the highway. And so would they be able to stay in business? Well, yes, they did. And
Well,
they have been
obviously
as
so.
successful as ever. You drive a few extra blocks, those kids do,
Yep.
if they want to go to Giovanni. So anyway, congratulations to both of them. All right. We also want to once again hype something that's coming up. We won't say a whole lot about it because we've talked about it, and we'll have a bunch of coverage on the back end. But that is the basketball game this Saturday. It is going to be so exciting for Total Media to be fully involved in that, totally involved, if you don't mind me putting that
That's
that way.
exactly right.
Of course,
Pun intended.
Once again, to recap, it's there at Knightstown, Indiana, and that is where the famed basketball court was that the Hoosiers movie was based on.
Yes.
I understand that the movie was not completely faithful to the story, but the general
close.
plot is the same.
Yeah.
Very small country school, hardly enough kids to field a basketball team, and they end up winning the state tournament against a big city team. That part is all the way accurate. But that place there has been
There it is.
There it is. Thank you very much, James, for getting that picture for us. The people who own that facility, I can't even tell you who it is. It's very entrepreneurial. They figured that they could make a pretty good living by renting out that space and inviting teams in, and that's what they do all basketball season.
Isn't that wild?
It's not home court to a regular high school team, but you can go there, and I don't know what it costs to do it, but you can have a game there. They can pick an opponent, or you can pick an opponent. And Oak Hill head basketball coach Heath McInnes came up with the idea to do that. He did all the arranging, and it's going to be this Saturday at 2:00. And they had an opening, and he recruited the Vinton County Vikings to play them. So we have two local teams playing.
That is so cool.
Our Todd Compton and Red Thompson Jr. are going to be there. We're even putting them up overnight out of town.
What?
How about that?
Oh, those two are going to tear up the town.
Right, and they'll be doing all sorts. They'll be there at the game doing all sorts of coverage in all ways, newspaper, video. We'll probably have something we can show here on Main Street TV. And on the radio, our radio brethren here at Total Media will be broadcasting that game live. We don't always do a lot of road games, but by golly, we're going all the way to Southern Indiana for this game.
Love it.
And of course, Corey Ruby, who is our first-year broadcaster for the Oaks, and I think Mike Lewis usually broadcasts with him. I don't know that Mike's going, but I suppose he is. But I know Corey is for sure because he was in here talking about it. Very excited.
Yeah, he has
about
to
that.
be excited about
Very
that.
excited about that opportunity. And so once again, that is this Saturday at 2:00, and you can hear that broadcast on the radio. And of course, you can also connect not only through the radio, but through the internet as well.
That's right. And I'll bet you $1 that there will be a lot of social media posts about that.
Oh,
pictures, videos.
Oh yeah, you'll see Facebook
That's
blow
gonna
up
be
with all
awesome.
the people that get to go.
Yeah.
And there was a limited number of tickets available because obviously it's a small court.
It's tiny.
It's not a regulation size court. I don't know whether there's still tickets available or not. I did not check, but you had to basically reserve a voucher starting last Tuesday at the local schools, and then turn that in for a ticket, a $10 ticket
When you get there.
once you got to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it'll be a full house.
Yeah, I would say so for sure.
But anyway, we will certainly
2:00 tomorrow.
we will certainly be covering that as well. We also want to give some publicity.
Hey, Pete, real quick before you go on, we got a question here from Ann. The Hoosier game will be on 97.7 Country.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, 97.7.
That is the same station where our Oak Hill broadcasts are.
The regular Oak Hill station.
Right.
And it tip-off is at 2:00, so it's a pretty early game.
Right. And for our Vinton County fans that are used to tuning in, they're used to hearing Vinton County on 98.7. This game, because Oak Hill is the host school, is 97.7 FM.
Yes.
So just move down the dial one notch there, and you're there.
Just hit your seek down one time.
All right. The Vinton County Community Foundation had their first round of grants. There's a Jackson County Community Foundation as well, which we'll talk about here in just a minute again, because something good just happened to them. But the Vinton County Community Fund recently announced their first round of grants. This is where people, businesses, estates can make a donation to this endowment fund, and then the local community committee in each county, and there is one now in Vinton County, it's its first year, they make these yearly allocations. I guess you could call them grants, things that would help the county. And the 5 grants that went out in Vinton County, thanks to the Vinton County Community Foundation this year, were Easter Seals, Central and Southeast Ohio, and that is to sustain and grow the enrollment of Vinton County children in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
Oh, yay!
Right. Also, money will go to the Hocking Athens Perry Community Action Committee, and this will support the St. Francis Food Pantry, which provides food to prescription patients in Vinton County. Also, the United Way of Vinton County will be getting some money. This will help fund marketing materials and incentives and events for the Vinton County Cares Initiative. And Melissa Hammond is doing that. Melissa is, she and Steve own and operate the Hammond Hardware Store in Hamden, and she is very active in the community. And one of the things she's trying to get off the ground is something called Vinton County Cares. And Vinton County Cares is a organization which is building and implementing a framework for volunteerism in the county. In other words, Vinton County Cares, once it's up and rolling and there's people that are committed to it, they can kind of channel volunteers to projects all over the place and all around the calendar on that. So that will help promote the United Way Vinton County Cares. Also, the Village of McArthur and the McArthur Park Board is getting money to help extend the sidewalk and make restrooms at Wyman Park, which is the village's park, more accessible. A bunch of improvements was done at Wyman Park earlier in the year, by the way, thanks to grants. Also, the Vinton County Soil and Water Conservation District will be purchasing equipment that will allow for the expansion of the National Archery in the Schools program. So SWCD will be getting some money from the Vinton County Community Foundation. All right, this is something that affects a lot of people, and a lot of these people should have already been informed, but we will tell you about it too, because there's ripple effects in the community when these big decisions are made at the state level about social service benefits. But SNAP emergency benefits are going to end in March, which means the last allocation will be at the end of February.
Okay.
SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Oh.
And these are emergency allotments that went out. I think more went out because of COVID.
Okay.
And they provide support for food for income eligible clients. I know that this is a concern in both Jackson and Vinton counties because a lot of people got the SNAP benefits. They are now being informed that they will not receive them at the end of February.
Oh.
This is not a local decision. This is not a state decision. This is a federal decision.
Oh, my.
I'm not exactly
Okay.
sure, what the reason is, but it's not the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services or the Jackson County or Vinton County Job and Family Services. This is a change in federal law, and it cannot be appealed. Now, maybe something may happen at the federal level, at the executive and legislative side, but no SNAP emergency allotments after February.
Okay.
All right, and I didn't wear my tam. I have a tam, just like Larry's orange. I was going to wear it today,
The Larry's.
but in the hustle and bustle of thinking all I had to do today, it's still in the closet. But anyway, do not forget about the pre-1890 indoor trade fair to be held at the Cantor's Cave 4-H camp.
That's right.
I know Larry was
Yes,
here to talk
Larry
about
and
it
Larry.
yesterday. It will be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday at the Cantor's Cave 4-H lodge,
Yes.
like walking into yesterday.
Yes.
Long ago yesterday.
Lots of fun. It's take the kids. They will have a great time. Kids under 12 get in free. They have toys for, kids. They have all kind of fun things that you can buy or just look at and learn about history. And it's really fun.
Right. You can learn a lot there. You don't have to be a hobbyist to enjoy it. It's a spectacle. It really is.
You're right.
Because they all dress up. And
Yep.
And I've covered it before. I think Alex Shope is going to cover it for us this weekend, but I'm probably going to go anyway, just as an individual.
Yeah.
You hear some interesting stories from those people, and I guarantee you will find things in there that you will not find at Walmart. Okay?
Very much so.
I'll
Like
feel
that.
safe in saying that.
If you look on Facebook, James so sweetly posted a picture of me holding a knife yesterday.
You looked awful excited to be holding that knife. That's all I'm saying.
I'm like, James, oh God. No, but a lot of things that they make, which is so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. It's very, very nice. I think he told me they have 28 vendors, something like that.
Yes.
So it spreads all across the floor there. Some
And they have food and stuff out there
great
too.
reading material. But the number one thing I think are probably the guns, the muzzle loading guns, the old guns. There's
Yes.
something to see, even if you don't need to buy one. But if you like that stuff, you would probably have to drive to Columbus to some specialty shop to see that kind of collection.
That gun, that muzzle loader that Larry Zorns brought in yesterday, they were both absolutely beautiful, and he had built both of them. But the one, and I don't know if you got to see it, Pete, but it was made from curly, was it cherry, James? I think it was curly cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Prettiest wood you'll ever see. Absolutely gorgeous. And this gun was made out of it. It's like a deep, rich wood, but it has these like really pretty stripes through it that kind of curl around. And oh man, it was gorgeous.
Right. It is. It truly is something to see. A very nominal admission there, and a portion of the money from what the vendors do to lease the space or rent the space, and the admission. Part of that will go to the 4-H camp to help support it. So
it's either $3 or $4, right, James?
They got their heart in the right place.
Yeah, it's either $3 or $4 unless you are dressed up, in which case it is $2 or $3.
The Larrys didn't know what the admission
They
was.
had no idea.
I wonder if I wear a tam, that'll be enough.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
But if you're under 12, it is definitely free.
It is definitely FRE. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we mentioned the Vinton County Community Foundation, and I said there was some good news from the Jackson County Community Foundation. Now, these are arms of the Foundation of Appalachia, Ohio organization, which does philanthropy too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the latest news from the Jackson County Community Foundation, we reported recently about their grants. We've already done that. But they got a big boost towards their next round of grants that they'll do next year.
Okay.
People's Bank has given them a $25,000 donation, and that is to support future projects in Jackson County. Now you don't have to give $25,000.
Wow,
they'll take
that's a lot.
They'll take any amount, but this was large enough and special enough that they wanted our paper to come and cover it, and we did. And those are the folks right there. I'm going to name them because they are doing some really good work. From left to right, if you're looking there, you see the picture well enough. That's FAO Director of Outreach, Sherry Simons. Mm-hmm. She is out of Nelsonville. That's where the FAO office is, Foundation of Appalachia, Ohio. Then you have FAO Senior Director of Advancement, Angela Anderson. Then you have some local folks, Jackson County Community Foundation member Carol Wright. Mm-hmm. Then you have Pat Ball. He is a representative of People's Bank Insurance and the branch here in Jackson. Then you have the branch manager at People's, Mary Buckholes. Then you have Angie Bryant, also representing People's Bank Insurance. And you have Jillian Phillips representing People's Bank. And then you have Community Foundation member Susan Stockmeister, and then Allie Cooner, also People's Bank. People's Bank, of course, right there on Main Street, next to McDonald's, across from the ParksEdge Event Center. That is the Jackson branch office. They have banking on one side of the building and insurance on the other. And that was certainly a very generous gesture on their part, $25K to the Jackson County Community Foundation. All right, Alex Shope got to do a positive story. We didn't send him off to do something bad. We sent him off to do something good. He went out to Four Winds Community earlier in the week, and this story will be in our Saturday paper. And they were celebrating a birthday, and it was a very special birthday. Ruth Fannin, who is a resident there, turned 100 years old.
Oh, happy birthday, Ruth.
And there is Ruth right there. And she is, let's see, who's that with her? That would be Dr. James Tooman, who is one of her doctors. And he was there to be with her. Here's why Ruth is special. You're special if you're 100, right?
Yes.
And Ruth has played piano at many churches. She still can play the piano out there at Four Winds.
Really?
And Ruth has been blind for a long time.
Wow.
So she has lived long and found a way to be very productive.
That is amazing.
And contributing member of society, and now is a contributor out at Four Winds Community, where she still plays the piano. She has played for several churches in the past, and she is a beloved figure at Four Winds. According to the activities director, Diana Burnett, and she volunteered this comment, she said that Ruth is all things a person wants to be when they reach 100. She is kind, accepting, and full of love. We are very thankful for her being here. So,
Love that.
So happy birthday, Ruth.
Yay,
Fannin.
Ruth.
I believe her birthday was actually on Wednesday. It's probably not too late to send a card or something.
I'd say not.
But Ruth was so happy with all the attention, and Alex had a good time when he was out there. All right, we do want to give a shout out to some young people who did well in sports, very young people who
Okay.
did well in sports.
Love that.
On the Elks Hoop Shoot. Mason Malone and Waylon DeLong. That's Waylon DeLong on the left, Mason Malone on the right. They are both students at Jackson Middle School. They have made it all the way to the state hoop shoot
That
finals.
is awesome.
Right, and how good of a shot are they? All right, Waylon is in the ages 10 to 11 division. He made 21 out of 25 free throws at the local contest, and then 22 out of 25 at the district contest.
Way to go.
That's a lot. The
Yeah.
NBA guys would probably take that. And that was, both of those contests were at Jackson.
Okay.
All right. Mason Malone, who was in the 12 to 13 category, made 24 out of 25 at the local level, and then 24 out of 25 at the district level. Only missed one both times.
Wow.
So in February, I don't have a date or a place, but they will be in the state hoop shoot. So congratulations to both of those young men, and we can call them hot shots.
Yes, we certainly can. Good for them.
All right. And then up Wellston Way, we had this submission. We are so glad to share this in our local media platforms. The Wellston Intermediate 5th grade girls basketball team won. They won first place, the Hocking Hills Holiday Classic Tournament in Logan.
Nice.
That was held on the holiday weekend between Christmas and New Year's. And we can only guess how many teams were up there, because these youth traveling basketball programs and tournaments are just, they're so more prevalent than what they were, when we were young.
Yeah, a few years
All
ago.
But anyway, the members of those teams we're going to give them a shout out: Adeline Kuhn, Ava Fenwick, Emma Spradlin, Dylan Eberts, Drew McManus, Raven Deck, Katie Jones, and Milana McFadden.
Nice.
And we thank Ryan Bethel for sending us that picture, and it will be in the paper.
Very cool.
All right, we'll go to another achiever, a little bit older, an achiever in another area, and that would be, of course, our own James Hamilton.
Yay, James.
We talked about his Behold My Stuff photography display at the Artisan Shop. There he is. He looks pretty happy.
Yes.
He has every right to be. He's got the whole exhibit there at the Artisan Shop. His enhanced photography. I've seen a lot of it. It is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
He had an opening night reception last Friday, and the good news is that it will remain on display through February.
That's right.
So now you do need to go to Gallipolis, but it's not very far. Maybe
it's a good drive.
Maybe eat out, walk through the park while you're
exactly.
there, cross the river, look at the murals there at Point Pleasant.
Go see the Mothman.
That's beautiful too. The Mothman's there. I didn't want to scare people away now, but the artisan shop
Touch his butt.
The artisan shop there is on at 749 3rd Avenue. And we will have this story telling a little bit about the reception and having that picture. That'll be in our Saturday paper as well. And
Very
we
cool.
certainly congratulate
Yay,
James on that.
Thank you, Pete.
He works very hard on his photography,
He does.
and the evidence is right there in that display.
Thank you, Pete. I
You're-
appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to shout that out a little bit in the paper.
Right. We are very, very, very welcome, and we thank you for helping us get the information that we needed on that.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of the arts, they are going to present they are the Apple City Players. They are going to present their next play. It's called The Mousetrap. That
Yes.
is a Agatha Christie. So, it's going to be a mystery. I don't know whether there's going to be comedy involved. I'm guessing there might be, based on how the Apple City Players do things. But
I think there will be.
Okay, well, you think there will be?
Yes.
Well, anyway, that's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, February 24th, 25th, and the 26th at the Marquette Cultural Arts Center. 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday evenings, 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon. I'm telling you about it because I want you to go, and also you can get your tickets already. They are available for $15 in advance, and they will be $17 if you don't wait till the door.
Okay.
But they can be purchased online. All you have to do is get on the computer and do your thing. It's at www.marquetickets.org.
That's right. Just
All
go
right.
online.
And I
super
presume
easy.
that if there's another event at the Marquet and there's someone in the box office, you could probably get a ticket that way as well.
That's right.
All right. The Ohio Department of Transportation District 10 wants to remind us that there will be a tree trimming project taking place in Vinton County on State Route 278. It is in the northern part of the county, and it is that part of the route that is between State Route 56 and US Route 50. This is a moving operation, which means, it's not always going to be in the same place
Okay.
that they're doing the tree trimming. When they are doing the tree trimming, the road will be closed where the work is taking place. It will be temporary. But to be aware that you may run into this situation, you need to be able to take a detour. You can contact the Vinton County ODOT garage for updated information. They will know when the work is taking place, when and where, so you can avoid a delay or maybe missing a meeting or not getting to work in time or whatever. But the Vinton County ODOT number is 740-568-4410, and you can see that number, in the paper and online as well. But it is Vinton County ODOT if you need to look it up. That work should be completed by Friday, February the 10th. So it is ongoing and should be done by February the 10th.
Okay.
Okay, the Vinton County Health Department wishes to tell us, no, it's not the Vinton County Health Department, it is Adena Health Center. They wish to tell us. Vinton County Health Department is doing the same thing, but this is different. This is the OU Women's Health Clinic that's going to be at the Adena Health Center here in Jackson, and that is going to be this coming Thursday, January 26th, 9:15 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they call this the Heritage Community Clinic, and this is a mobile cancer screening clinic that helps make it easier for southeastern Ohio women to get screenings. They don't have to go off to a hospital necessarily to do it. It is in collaboration with the Adena Health Center. That is why it is at the Adena Health Center here in Jackson. That's 1000 Veterans Drive by the Dakota's Restaurant, just about all the way out there where McCarty, the intersection with McCarty Lane.
Yep.
Appointments are required.
Okay.
So you need to call the number 740-593-2432 to make an appointment. And we do have this in the paper too. And I'm sure you can go, on Facebook and online through Adena and get this information too. But the services that will be include breast health education, Pap tests, breast and pelvic exams, and navigation through the continuum of care. I guess they'll do lots of different things there for you if they can. Same-day mammogram are available and will be provided by Adena on site.
Wow.
So that is coming up next Thursday.
That's awesome.
All right. Of course, we told you about the basketball coming up. Another thing coming up that we mentioned before, we want to mention again because time is running out to get tickets. The Jackson County Sportsman Federation will hold its annual banquet next Saturday, January the 28th. It'll be at 5:30 p.m. That's when the doors will open. The dinner will be at 7 p.m. It will be at the Cantor's Cave 4-H camp. Tickets are $25 each, and they include dinner and a chance to win a muzzle loader rifle or $100 in cash. Other raffle tickets will be sold as well. This is a fundraiser to support the Federation's efforts to support Jackson County wildlife issue and youth projects. One of the things they do is youth scholarships.
Yes.
So, there were 3 young people that won those scholarships last year, one from each of our local high schools. And so if you need to purchase a ticket, and they've been on sale for a month now, you need to call 740-395-7007. I'll say that again, 740-395-7007. And that story has been posted online on the Telegram. We're going to run a reminder in Saturday's paper because, they let us know about it several weeks ago. And so if you put off maybe getting the ticket or thinking about going to it, we're going to remind you about that's next Saturday. I don't have paperwork in front of me, but I also know Saturday, January 28th is the date that they'll do the big Kenny Valentine concert at the Liberty Theater Community Center in Oak Hill. And this is the first of many. I think there's going to be an event, a heritage event each month.
Yes, that's going to be
that
really
the Oak Hill
cool.
Chamber of Commerce and other groups are working on. Some of that stuff has already been announced. Some is still TBA.
Yep.
But it is all because Oak Hill is turning 150 years old this
Yay,
year. It
congratulations.
officially became a village in 1873.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
kudos to the chamber. I know the village is going to become involved too. The Oak Hill Historical Society is going to certainly be involved. Maybe the Festival of Flags as well. They are the doers and movers in Oak Hill, not only through the events they do, but for other things as well.
Yep.
So we'll keep you apprised of all that. But that concert that Kenny Valentine's doing, of course, he graduated from Jackson High School, has a very regionally popular band. That's free. That is a gift to the community in honor of Oak Hill's birthday from the Chamber of Commerce.
That's going to be awesome.
And any sponsors that is supporting it that I may not know about.
Very
So
good.
there we are, Jennifer.
My goodness. We've covered the gamut, haven't we, Pete?
Just about. Just about. There was a few things I held back, but I didn't want to run out of time.
So what happened? What's going on with high school sports other than the Hoosiers thing this weekend?
Well, Friday,
so that we can plug that.
Friday and Saturday is always a big day for high school basketball, especially Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe we have some boys basketball games tonight. Now, Vinton County, this is interesting. They're playing a game at Albany Alexander tonight. All right. That is a big conference game for them. So they've got to play tonight and then bust their way to Indiana several hours to an afternoon game.
Oh man, they are going to be worn out.
So don't ask them. If parents don't ask them to do any heavy work in the yard or whatever on Sunday, because it'll be some recovery time involved there.
They're definitely going to
I'm
be
sure that they're going to be thrilled though with the opportunity to play on that court. Oak Hill does not play tonight. I know that the Jackson Ironmen are in action tonight. They're going to be playing at Miami Trace. And remember, Jackson upset Washington Courthouse last Friday, and then they beat Albany Alexander, another good team, on Tuesday at Alexander, 64-40. So Coach Max Morrow has them going.
That's
now,
right.
Miami Trace took Jackson to school at Jackson's court earlier in the season, so we'll see if that changes.
Revenge.
Right. Well, Miami Trace has this 6'8" guy, and we don't have anybody. We don't have anybody that big.
Well,
so that's a problem.
We could put Alex in there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he did play in high school. I'm not sure that he wanted to, but I don't think you can avoid it if you're that tall.
You just stand here under the basket and throw it. Just put it in.
Usually that's enough. But I'm sure there's some other games too. I don't have them in front of me, but rest assured that we will be covering them all. Todd Compson will be in today to keep us up to date on the games that have been played so far. It's been very, very busy on the basketball front. That's one thing about it.
Lots of
since we had
games.
that Christmas weekend where we had the really cold weather and some cancellations, it's been play ball.
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
night.
No crazy weather.
These
nothing.
teams, the high school varsity boys and girls, play 22 games each. I mean, that is a big commitment.
Yes, it is, and it's tiring.
Yes, it is.
And will Dan, and Pete be there tonight?
No, they will not because it's at Miami Trace.
Okay.
So we always do the home games.
Okay.
Every boys' home games, most girls' home games, and sometimes we do away games, but very few. There's so many, we got 4 schools, so even with all our radio stations,
it's a lot.
It's hard to keep busy. We're only able to do it because JJ Hell, director of radio operations, and everybody under him sets everything up, and a lot of things behind the scenes there, and one thing that we can't say enough is we have excellent sponsorship for our sports program.
That's right, and thank you so much.
If you don't have that, all the goodwill, initiative, and volunteerism is for naught.
100%.
Right.
All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. We appreciate it.
That is okay.
All right. You're the best. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here for the day, I believe. Is there anything else, James?
No, just on the programming note, Jen's leaving us next week. So
I'll be back.
So on Monday, Pete and Jeremiah Schaefer will be bringing you the news.
Yeah, did you know that?
Yeah,
I did. Yes.
Okay.
And so me and JJ and Porterhouse and some of the other crew, we're going to be in Cincinnati at Great American Ballpark on Monday.
Everyone's leaving Monday.
Yeah, so maybe if time aligns right, maybe we can do a live remote from Great American Ballpark on Main Street TV.
That would be fun too.
That would be above and beyond.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, but for the rest of the week, we're going to have kind of a Main Street TV All-Stars. We're going to have John Boy is going to be back one day.
Yep.
Big Papa Josh Willett's going to be in one day. And maybe JJ and Porterhouse will do the show one day.
Woohoo! Sounds like fun.
Should be a lot
I
of fun.
am not responsible for anything that they do to get themselves in trouble when I am not here in the studio.
Yeah, we have 5 blonde wigs, so they won't even know you're messing.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here on Monday. Bye, everybody.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website,
thetelegrammnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Vinton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegrammnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegrammnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegrammnews.com.
Check it out.